Hi, this video will show you how to use the newly minted data repeater component that we have. So first of all, make sure that your DGLux version is at least 5791, which is the latest as of now. And the example that we're going to experiment with is we're going to take the weather DS link that we have, and what we want to do is we want to get a table that will have all of our forecasted days in one table with all of their values. So to do this, I'm just going to create an empty dashboard and I'll go to its data flow right away. So the first thing we need to do is we need to list the days that are in the forecast. But keep in mind that our dashboard will be running constantly, and because DSA's even list is a subscription, what's going to happen is as the days will change, our table will also be automatically updated. So we're going to use a list node block, dragging over the forecast path in there. In the mode, we're going to be nodes, because all we want is the nodes. You'll see the children table now has all of the nodes from the forecast. The next thing to do is to take our new repeater block, and our goal is going to be to loop over every single item in this table, and for every single item in this table, use the path of that item to get the actual values of the day, the condition, the date, the high, and the low. So the repeater block will do that for us. And the way the repeater block works is it needs a data input to start with. So we're going to bind the children to the data. So this is a table that it will be looping over. And then it needs a symbol render. Now we've recently added the data flow symbols to DGLux, and now I'm going to show you how those actually work. So let's kind of create our symbol content. So we have our day, and what we want to have is we want to be pulling in all of these metrics from this. So we have condition, date, high, low. Now I'll turn on snapping so it's easier. So we have condition, date, high, and low. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these blocks, and we will convert this to a symbol by right-clicking on them. And this is what will be called weather day. You'll notice that this is our weather day symbol now. I can right-click on the symbol and go to Edit Symbol, and you can see a new data flow shows up for us. It looks a little different because it has the close, apply, and OK buttons that you see typically in all the other symbols. Data flow symbols work just like visual symbols, except they're non-visual, as you can imagine. So the next thing to do for us is let's create some properties on the symbol. And we're going to right-click the stage of editing symbol panel, data flow, and we'll go to symbol properties, and we're going to add a node path because this is going to be our base path of the day. You'll know, if you recall, we're going to be repeating over a table of the children of forecast. So each child will be the path to Friday, path to Monday, path to Saturday. So this is going to be our path, and let's rename this to, let's say, like day path. And then let's add some fields that are going to be outputting from the symbol, because based on the current day's path, we're now going to be outputting, let's say, condition, date, high, and low. The way we're outputting is we're going to be binding from these blocks right over to here. So you'll notice right now all the paths for these get value blocks, they are static, which is the ones when I drag them in, they're actually pointing to the forecast that I have created here. To change this, we want to make them dynamic, so we're going to add a relativized block. And the way the relativized block works is we can drag in, let's say, the root node that we're going to have, and in our case, we're going to be repeating over forecast, so all our nodes are going to be the path to the actual days. So I can just take that and I'll drag that over to the path. And the relativized block is smart enough to realize that we're going to be relativizing all these other blocks. So now I can click the relativize button, Select all of these nodes that it's found, click relativize, and now we can close this panel. And what happened is it's automatically going to be changing the path based on this value, and you'll see now our path for each one of the get value blocks is the the actual name of the metric, condition, path, and so on. So now everything is relativized. Just for testing, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to cut this from here, plug this to the day path, because that will be automatically being passed in. And the only thing I need to do now is actually link this into the path field here. So now our symbol is ready. I'm going to press OK. And you'll notice our symbol actually has all of these properties now on this. Based on the day here, and right now it's Friday, and I can just manually, let's say I'll type in Monday, and you'll notice how it changed and it's outputting new data. If we're using this symbol here in our data flows by itself, we can actually click these properties and pin them, and you'll see how they will become pinned right in the block. So that will be useful for us as well if we want to use this as a reusable component for getting day data. So as the next step, we can now take this weather day and use this as a repeater symbol. Now you can either type that in, or we can look at our symbols panel right here in data flow and drag that in right over here. Now we have to deselect and then reselect the block, and what you'll see is now we have, number one, this output table. The output table works by taking all of the properties of the symbol component that it's repeating, and it's merging them together for you automatically into a table. Now, the next thing to do is we actually need to be passing in the day path to each symbol row. So we'll do the same workflow we do with any other repeater, which is we'll drag over the column of the path right onto the day path field. And there we go. So now we have a component that is outputting all of this whole table for us. Now if we want to make this component itself reusable, all we have to do now is we can take these blocks, we can convert them to symbol and call this, let's say, weather table, and we can edit the symbol. All right, that's okay. We can pin this table now. And now we have this component that is getting us the output of the forecast. And again, symbols are great because you can reuse them as many times as you like, and they're always going to work very efficiently. Thank you.